Howdy and aloha, everybody. It's James with Monotalk. It is now July 12th, 2023. I did a shorter video today earlier, kind of went over RFK's positions. You can't, hey man, pairing headphones. Okay. I don't know what that means. Hey Snork, how you doing, buddy? Yeah, after knowing, researching, let me back up. After doing all my due diligence, chickadee chickadee checking myself before I wreck myself, um, investigating, reading, lots of reading, searching, checking, and just doing my own due diligence. And there we go. Okay, good. Um, it's just hard to believe who has the interests and the livelihood and the well being of the U.S. voting republic at heart. I'm still trying to because it's coming up. And look, nothing like I said is going to happen until January 20th, 2025, obviously. I guess we're all waiting for everybody searching for a hero. Right? It's just like, I don't know if it's going to. I don't think a lot of this stuff's going to be able to be reversible, or if the House Republicans or anybody is going to stop what's going on. Um, oh, good. Okay. Yeah. Anyway, okay. So I'm just kind of hesitant to throw my eggs in one basket. I always tell my kids, girl or boy, don't throw all your eggs in one basket, because you never know what's going to happen. You got to leave a few eggs for yourself. You can commit, that's fine. Committing is, follow through and doing everything you can to make sure, it comes to fruition, and, the goals are met and you're doing what you can. But at a certain point, things happen. I've been through it with politics, I've been through it with work, jobs, businesses, and relationships. Um, yeah, that makes sense. But I'm more worried if VP Giggles become press next week. Yeah, nobody wants fucking crazy woman, crazy Kamala to be anything. I mean, so you throw the book at this guy, all right? I'm kind of moving over because Snark's here, and I'm kind of moving over. But you don't know who you're going to trust. Who's going to really defend and uphold the Constitution completely. Who's not going to violate or allow their departments, or in a sense, what we've been going through the past 3 or 4 years now, is instruct those departments to go against our First Amendment rights. That is a very big concern, because we've seen it happen. I mean, the Twitter files came out, the Twitter documents, and all that stuff. And what happened to those people? Does anybody know what happened to the CEOs, management, everybody that was, in on it, that was throttling content either off of the platform of Twitter or on, and more giving them more exposure? No, nothing's happened to those people. I don't see any. I don't see any justice at all. Nothing's. People forgot about that, right? It's just all of a sudden, poof. All right, what's gone? They're those criminals, in my opinion, are freaking. They're probably sipping a mai tai in Waikiki Beach right now. Who fucking knows? I'm just I'm watching the House, they gained the majority, barely, and they, put their committees together, and they got their gavel hammering, you know, leader out there who promised he was going to expose all the 40,000 plus, I think it's 44,000, I think, somewhere around there, J6 footage, which I'm still waiting for, which we're still waiting for. There's just a ton of stuff out there, right? It seems crooked for some reason. There's a ton of stuff out there that just is not. There's a ton of stuff out there that is being redacted. It's not being shown. We're subpoenaed. Nobody's showing up. Nobody's bringing the information. You're getting bits and pieces. You've got hearsay, my word against your stuff. Whistleblowers that come out and say anything, but I'm not seeing pictures or documents or data, with signatures or classified emails or unclassified emails showing that that's the case. You saw a lot of that with Twitter, right? You saw a lot of that with Twitter. So there's definitely cause for our own government basically violating the First Amendment, not allowing us to have conversations and debates and our own perspectives and to say things and make, whether it's an accusation or a claim that's outlandish or not, it's our right, and that was taken away, and and that started, completely and thoroughly. It started at warped speed, in a sense, more so towards in the beginning of 2020. I mean, I felt it. This is my 8th channel, by the way, with YouTube. The first 5 of them are completely gone, all striked out. No nudity, no pedo, no nothing, no craziness. That's still okay to have on fucking YouTube, obviously. No people get their heads chopped off, and just the sickest and craziest shit is still allowed. The CCP, the Russia, and all these other fucking, and Taliban and Al Qaeda, they still have their fucking, a lot of their websites up. ISIS, with all their which some of it you can't fucking blame. They're pissed off. I get it. A lot of their content's still up there. But guys that challenge authority or dissent, in a sense, right, or just activists that question authority and its sources at every turn, like I have, having a little bit of clarity, a little bit of courage, right? I'm our stuff got ripped off of the fucking YouTube. It's been ripped off of Twitter many times. It's been ripped off of Facebook. I can't even count how many times on YouTube and Facebook. Facebook's got the fucking record. They've stashed my stuff continuously. I actually got a ding for quoting the Declaration of Independence. The Declaration of Independence. I got in trouble for it from the fucking Facebook fact checkers. That's all I did. I said, so what happened to the... It had to do with questioning authority, and I said, it's an unalienable right, and did something like that. And I was quoting the Declaration of Independence, and then all of a sudden they took it down. This is misinformation. It was verbatim. The things that have been happening, it's hard to trust who anymore, and who's on what side, and what side are they really on. That's the biggest concern everybody has. That's the concern that I believe the people that are like I just posted this. Where did I post that? Hold on. It's a very, very well put together by Carl Jung. What's this? Oh, jeez. They're gonna try to throw Pete Buttigieg into the fucking mix again. Jesus fuck. Uh, it's just fucking amazing. It's amazing. That's all I gotta say. It's fucking amazing. Where did I put that? Um, oh, did I send it to myself? I should. Give me a second. I'll do that. That's what I'll do. This is like one of the greatest things I've ever. This really depicts what's going on. Um, uh, this in the past few years. This is really, pretty much sums it up. I'm going to grab it here and I'm going to post it. Yeah, shit, I'll just show it there. Alright. Where's my Windows? Windows 2. Oh, I got too many things up here. We're going to go with Facebook. Oh, there it is. Make it smaller so people can read it. Everybody's worried about giggles. I get it, bro. Yeah, so this is interesting. Not interesting. This is where we're at. This is where I think I'm at. I mean, it makes me feel a little bit better. The deep critical thinker has become the misfit of the world. This is not a coincidence. To maintain order and control, you must isolate the intellectual, the sage, the philosopher, the savant before their ideas awaken people. That's Carl Jung. Okay? That's Carl Jung. Now, I'm not, there are people that didn't graduate from Harvard or Yale or Princeton or Brown or any Ivy school or Duke, whatever, or UCLA, USC, Alabama, Northwestern, MIT, or our masters at electricians, plumbers, and stuff like that. But there are a lot of people that work at the factory, or drive a truck, or deliver products, or maintenance, or security guards, or whatever out there. They are, they're like, wait a second. A lot of this just isn't making sense, and some of these people are still out there. I mean, they're out there. They're just like, well, I'm not going to take that. I don't like the fact that what you're trying to put in my body has complete and total indemnification. I don't really like that. I don't think that's a good idea. I think that's probably a stupid idea. And then, right off the bat, as time moved on, they found that it was a great idea not to continue to be a part of that, to say no, to not be there. And I thought that was, it's just plain old common sense. I was just dumbfounded with the amount of people from all different walks of life, different societies and cultures, and all over the United States and the world, a very small percentage, though, that didn't take the bait. That said, you know what, that lure is just a little too shiny. It's a little too, that lure is just a little too shiny, and I can see those hooks, right? And I saw the hooks, right? And some people didn't see the hooks, and a lot of them got caught. They got fucking right through the gills, man, the mouth to the gills, and I tried. I fucking tried so hard, but at every turn, my channel, and at the time of my first channel, I had almost 600, or was it somewhere around there, 600 or 700, maybe a little less, I'm not sure, subscribers, and I was growing fairly rapidly. After a couple of years, I was starting to move, get more audiences. Steve was on with me; she was doing a great job and all this other stuff, and we had some good content. And then all of a sudden, 2020 came, and then boop, I got a strike. I'm like, what the fuck? And then they don't explain why. They say community guidelines, misinformation, something about um, coronavirus and all this other stuff. And I'm like, so I can't ask a question. I can't have a hypothesis. I can't have my own, perspective, or can't have a. You can't give like a synopsis on the situation and kind of dive in a little deeper. No, you couldn't. You couldn't. You couldn't do anything. And they took down my channel. 1, 2, 3 strikes you're out. 1, 2, 3 strikes you're out. 1, 2, 3 strikes you're out. Just over and over and over again. And I was just like, what the fuck? But at that point, I'm just like, well, fuck that. At that point, I'm just, you know what? I am just going to start. And I took out, before it happened, I was able to grab a few of my very important content, and I saved it to a hard drive and my computer as well, of all the family stuff I had, all the family stuff. But I also, if you're having trouble starting, oh, I don't know what this is. But I was able to move a lot of that stuff also over to Zoom, over to Odyssey, right? Odyssey's been the place I've been going. I have a few on Rumble, a couple of just a few on BitChute. I just found it easier to throw them up on Odyssey. It was just easier to do it. I'm still trying to figure out Rumble to start that at the same time. But there was tons of content that I had that I was there was tons of content that I lost. There was probably, out of a few hundred videos, I was able to salvage maybe a third of it, right? And a lot of that stuff is gone now. It's fucking ridiculous, right? I mean, here's one. When I was showing what they were doing, see if they'll play this here. Get in your house. This is during the lockdowns.
They're pissed off. I understand completely and totally why. This is the social injustice and the abuse. It's not even, it's past racism. It's the oppression, the giant magnanimous, whatever fucking word you want to say. It is humongous amount of oppression. Now, it's on us. You were just in house arrest because of COVID-19. You couldn't fucking leave your house, pretty much. Only for food and necessities or essential
remember that?
things. Food, whatever. Medicine, whatever. Right? Now you can't even fucking leave your house. And if any one of you fucking blame these protesters for this kind of testosterone magnitude of the 10th power, this is just a giant...
Let's see if I played it.
Light him up! Did you hear that guy? Light him up. Hear this motherfucker.
Oh, go inside! Get inside! Get inside! Get inside! Get in your house now! Let's go! Light him up!
Did you hear that guy? Light him up. That is a term used, I don't know, in Platoon. Some new fucking movie. What is it? 1917 or whatever fucking movie is coming out praising war, right? Who's that fucking guy who does all the war movies? God damn it. Tom fucking Hanks. That guy's like the... He's in a war movie. That piece of shit is in a fucking war movie every decade. At least 2 or 3 times a decade. He is their fucking shining boy. Oh, and he's the first, and his wife got the COVID right off the bat, right? Their fucking go-to.
See, I was questioning it. I was like, nah, it's just their go-to guy. Their fucking all-American actor boy.
These fucking assholes, all of them. And this isn't the state is ran. Look, you've got to understand. They're doing this not just state-wise. This is something that the federal government is allowing. Trump is part of this. Everybody, no. Yes, he is part of all this shit. It's 2 parties look, Republican, Democrat. I don't care who you fucking support. These 2 fucking parties are trying every fucking day to find and use more ways to control you. To control. Because if you have freedom to think, critically think, to do the things that you need to do to be free, that's fucking scary through their corporate and 1% masters.
Hey.
For you to be free to do as you want is scary for them.
Wow.
They want to fucking control you. This is absolute and total fascist control at the totalitarian level. Completely. You said something earlier? No? Okay. Anyway, she's sitting over here. She might jump on, but this is going to be a quick one. Because this is fucking nuts. This is fucking nuts. So this is it. I mean, I got people close to me saying, you know, we should all be peaceful and understanding and all. No. They've never been that way. There's so much more to this. And on the surface, you see, if you're watching CNN, if you're watching MSNBC, if you're watching Fox, Al Jazeera, BBC, PBS, Democracy Fucking Now, which turned into the biggest fucking hack neoliberal station on the planet, you're going to get the surface. You're not going to really get what's going on. I recommend Jimmy Dore, my show, Jamal. Who else?
Not Jamal. He went south.
The Last American Vagabond.
Definitely.
I'm sorry? Deb Della Piana for sure.
No,
the
not her.
Ungovernable.
Deb Della Piana went full COVID mask mandate. Wow, people turned. But fuck, I'm trying to get this video. God damn it. Play it. Stop babbling.
Independent outsider.
No, he went south too.
And some people that are really understanding.
No, he went full COVIDian. Also. Back. He also went that way. All right, let's see if we fucking play this video. For fuck's sakes. Did I ever play it back in the beginning? I think I played it in the beginning. Yeah, I did. Okay, that's where I was trying to get to. But I was pretty much on fire with this.
Coming.
Go! Go inside! Get inside! Get inside! Get inside! Get in your house now! Let's go! Light him up! Go inside now! Get in the house!
Get in.
Oh, God, that hurt. You good?
Are you okay?
Right on the fucking crotch.
Are you okay? You got hit?
I'm good. They're fucked for that, dude. What?
That's crazy. People forget that. Who was in charge when that happened? Right? Did anybody say, hey, let's fucking... Trump was in charge. He was in charge. That's California too. I mean, California's fucked up. I don't think. I don't. I'm. I don't think that would have happened in Missouri. But they were being rough. I don't think it would have happened in some red states. Because red state people fucking shoot back. Or what? Fuck you. Pop, 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 pop. It's over. Commie California, bro. Bunch of shitheads, for sure. Yeah, it was rough out there. I had family talking to them. They were just fucking scared shitless. Not just about the fucking pandemic COVIDian lie. They were scared of just staying in the formation they were supposed to be in. They were pissed off at. They were scared. Just you got to stay 6 feet safe. Sitting, they had stickers everywhere. Remember? Everybody remember? Hey Eric, good seeing you, buddy, or knowing you. If you want to come on, let me know. I'll just put it in the notes. But in the chat, I was completely just pissed off. I mean, if I do one of those things, you don't want to be around. I'm just telling you, because it's all I have to say is they turned on us, everybody, and this was the orders from your legislators at the state level. The cops are doing their job. Some of them are fucking trigger happy, no doubt. We know that, right? And California probably has the worst record of the most diabolical, mischievous fucking cops. There are some good ones, and I've known a few, but it's very rare. It's very rare. Yeah, these guys are fucking nasty, and that was everywhere. It was like a full enforcement. It was a full enforcement when this fucking thing first started happening. Get in your house, lockdowns. Get the fuck in your house. They were pissed off too. Now here's another reason why they were also pissed off, because of the Black Lives Matter, which didn't make any sense at all. That made absolutely no fucking sense. So they're locking down everybody, shooting at them, and I think I brought that up in this segment, or one of these segments. And at the same time, they're allowing thousands and hundreds of thousands on the streets everywhere, protesting Floyd. And I'm just like, what? Some wearing masks, many not. It was just so fucking ass backwards. All that was just so fucking ass backwards. All right. Let me send it to you. Oh, where's the channel? Let me get there. Boop, boop, boop. Yeah, I really, I was just fucking just pissed, man. I just know that if you were to do that in like Tennessee or South Carolina or North Carolina or fucking Kentucky or something like that, those boys ain't having that shit. Those boys ain't having that shit, man. That would not be happening in those states, for damn sure. Right? But in California, people are so meek and malleable in fucking California. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's fucking nuts. And they become so complicit. Really bad. To the point to where you're just like, man, why do you guys even exist? It's just kind of funky, it just doesn't make any sense. Yeah, so I was doing a lot of stuff, and if you look, let me close this, go back to this. You can see there's a lot of stuff I saved. There's a lot of stuff I was able to save. One of the biggest ones that got caught taken down when I brought up Luc Montagnier, right? Luc Montagnier, who was the guy right here. Luc Montagnier, 2008 Nobel Prize winner. found HIV, was part of that team, who said the HIV spike protein, there's no other way that could be implemented into a virus unless it was made in a laboratory, which they tried to shut him down. And by the way, they did, because he died in 2022, I believe. I think last year he died. So he's not around. The guy who created the RT-PCR test is not around. He was killed just before COVID came out in July of 2019. Right? The guy that could have proved and has said the RT-PCR test isn't what you should use, and Kerry Mullins also, his take, or his perspective, or how he felt basically about Anthony Fauci. He thought he was a criminal. He thought he didn't know anything. He was just a fucking salesman, and he was. He was a good fucking salesman. This one got taken down. That I had with. Let me try to make that a little bigger so you can see it. This one I had with Andrew Coppin. If you know him, he's been the guy saying it was never isolated. Never isolated. And then I also have a video of them saying it. We never isolated the virus. No, you didn't. Right? So what does that mean? That could have been anything out there. It's just, I've already proven, basically, they fooled you with a fucking flu. Right?
But they do these things, and then there's reciprocity. So, they hand you an article, right? Now, of course, that's marketing material, but it looks like a scientific paper. And so you might take in that information and just take it at face value. And then, of course,
Yeah, that was good to have him on. And a few people. I really was fucking like all over this. And they were trying so hard to fucking take me down. It was crazy. It was just nuts. They could not. It's like I mean, I would get on, and at one point, just to test how hard they were on me, I got on and did like a fucking 5-minute video about. All I said was like what I believed were the algorithm matrix. What are those sentinel hunters words, targeting tag words were. And I got on and I said, well, the virus is this, and just like that. The virus does this, the vaccine does that, Pfizer does this, and Pfizer's one of these, and Pfizer and Bill Gates, and I was just throwing out all, which is happening now. The fucking sentinels of the Matrix are coming after me, right? If you've seen the Matrix. And I put that video up, and I really wasn't saying anything, just to see what happened. Sure enough, boom. They fucking took it down. I didn't slander anybody. I just said the keywords. It was it was nuts.
Beyond insane.
And
Also, hello.
Oh, hey, Eric. Good seeing you, buddy.
Good to see you too.
Also, during the Floyd riots, a lot of backs were told they were immune. Isn't that weird? They were actually told by the media or something that they were immune. I guess, is that correct? Or is that, because that,
Oh my goodness.
I don't think so, because I don't know about that, but I do know that they were targeting them because they kept saying, well, only the white people are getting it. And not the Hispanics are getting the vaccine. They're trying to make, it's called the takeaway. It's a sales thing. Trying to make you feel like you're losing something. So they were showing these articles, and I did a show on that. That got fucking dinged, of course, and another strike. But they were trying
Fucking
to,
YouTube.
yeah, they were trying to get them to believe that they were being pushed aside for the white people that are only getting the vaccine, when in fact they were smart to question it. I don't know if you ever saw that video, but I remember, I think it was in late 2020, or early 2021, where Fauci and his group of CDC shitheads, or NIH shitheads, went out to like Philadelphia or Wisconsin, I'm not sure where it was, and they had a video, and this one black guy goes, "I ain't taking that shit."
Oh,
Do you remember that?
I like that one.
Yeah, I have it somewhere.
The one black guy that stood
Yeah, he
up
was just like,
against.
no, why would I take something I don't know fucking anything about? It's just, he had, that's the people I was talking about. You, Eric, me. I mean, a lot of people. Look,
And that one ratchet bitch that was pushing it on that brother. I was like that buck dancing Negro, the one that was pushing it on the on the brother. Fucked up.
yeah,
And especially siding with the fucking that Dr. fucking Hitler and that buck dancing Negro. And I'm like, I was like, no, I'm not falling for that spiritual.
yeah,
Fuck you.
she was like she's paid, or just, it's about their job, it's about their income.
Diversity of keeping up appearances.
No, yeah, and they were trying to get them. Well, I'm black and I took it. No, I don't think you took it. How do we know you fucking took it? How do we know you didn't get a placebo? I guarantee,
Exactly.
from what has been told and what I've seen and people have stated, I think Benchwan brought this up. He clearly indicated that Bill Gates has not had a single one of his own creation virus vaccines. Not one. And
Wow, that really says a
oh,
lot.
that's right, right. And I guarantee his kids have not a single one. The greatest thing to know is the Amish, with their numbers and their data, they don't have autism. They don't have a can't. There's a lot of things the Amish don't have that we have, right? Because they don't take all that shit. The only time they'll take something is if it's an absolute, and there's a thing with them in a clause, or I'm not sure how it all works. Snork might know. But it has to be like a super rare emergency. But they'll do everything themselves. They have lots of home remedies, lots of holistic remedies. They have lots of things that they've been doing for hundreds of years, which sadly we moved away from, and everybody allowed the big pharma, medical, big hospital, big elderly care.
I want to go and, take a step back and move back to the holistic shit because that shit is way much
Yeah,
better
yeah,
than.
yeah. No, I do too. I'm starting to see that a lot on TikTok. I'm seeing a lot on YouTube's, on Facebook. A lot of people are coming out, but I have to tell you that a lot of that stuff needs to be, in my opinion, you take it with caution. Because a lot of those things, like for example, the dandelion. The dandelion is probably the greatest healing plant out there. And guess what company hates dandelion? Monsanto. So they create Roundup, right? Roundup is very bad to use. They've got lawsuits now where you can go and sue them. Blah, blah, blah. But anyway, dandelion
Fuck
is,
Monsanto.
yeah, of course. But the thing is the dandelion it's like the number one hated weed in your yard, but at the same time, it has the most healing proponents, antioxidants, and all these wonderful things that real holistic scientists have been studying for decades. But the thing is there's other things that are out there that people are recommending, but I'm just saying it's not going to work. I'm saying it may not work for everybody.
Right.
That's all I'm saying. You may think that they'll, because there's gonna be a Fauci holistic person out there that's gonna say, okay, you need to take this and you need to take that and you need to take this and you need to take that, and you mix this together with that, and then you mix it together. Next thing you know, you can't see, or you can't hear, or your tongue's falling. I don't know, but what I'm saying, I think my
Some
point.
mad scientist shit.
Yeah, some mad, because you're going to have fucking idiots out there, and there's people out there already jumping on this bandwagon. I've never seen so many advertisements for holistic or natural remedies and all this other stuff and all these books. And I get it, but what I'm just saying to everybody is be careful. Don't think that, if your fucking leg is on fire, throwing some paprika on is going to fix it. No. You see what I'm saying? Don't
Right.
don't get too extreme with this stuff, right? I think this, just use your common sense, which is hard for people these days. Yeah.
Yeah.
So is Cheryl coming on? Do you know, or was she? I thought she was. She said she asked, or she might. I'm not sure. But anyway, the the thing that I'm getting to tonight, where I'm going, is I'm kind of dropping all over the place. And I think you have your YouTube up, don't you?
Who, me?
When you watch me, or no?
Yes.
Yeah, you do. Okay, good, good. So I'm gonna
Because I
show.
know, like, if I don't see you on and see you on another platform, I was like, oh, I know something happened.
Yeah, exactly. No,
Because,
I
like,
got it.
with
No, I
me,
got a
because I
strike.
look at other alternative platforms
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Rumble and Odyssey, so
It's Rumble.
you
Yeah.
so you do have them backups, and that's always a good thing to have.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's. I had to. It's sad, but I had to. So I brought this out the other day, um, and this is really serious now because this is why I'm trying to get to the Trump camp. I'm trying to get into the Trump camp to let him know that this if he does not tackle this issue, it's gonna bite him in the ass. Be-
It's gonna bite them hard in the ass.
yeah. So the issue is now this is VAERS reporting. Now VAERS, if you're familiar with VAERS, they've been around for a few decades. 80 to 85% of doctors, hospitals, professionals that deal with viruses or are injecting viruses, not viruses, but vaccines, into people have listed and will obtain data from their doctor's offices, etc. And they'll share that information on VAERS. They're supposed to do it. Those were the guidelines. That got stripped. That got taken away.
Mm.
So what happened was they told everybody in 2021, in late 2020 and 2021, to not list any, do not use this anymore. They told them not. This is a memo that I've seen that other. It's in stopthewef.org, DIYLibit.org. It's down in what the mainstream media isn't telling you. There's an article that went out. They were telling people that it's not trustworthy anymore. Don't go to VAERS when it has been for decades. So now what happened is only less than 1% of doctors, hospitals, elderly care, physicians, etc., professionals, registered nurses and stuff, are not reporting are reporting now. Only less than 1%. Before it used to be pretty much everybody. So here's the numbers as of June 16th, 2023 from mRNA COVID vaccine. 35,487. What's the number? Less than 1%. So if 80% of those people were actually reporting, let's say 79%, do the math. It would be a fucking ton more people. So what just happened recently, now keep that in mind. That's a lot of people. The other thing you need to understand is Pinto. You know what a Pinto is? Remember, I don't know. You probably weren't around for the Pinto. The Ford Pinto. Pinto was taken off the market because why did they stop making the Ford Pinto? Voluntary recall Pinto 1978. Cease manufacturing because it had like a few accidents. The gas tank on rear, and I don't have that. I've had it before. There were like, I'm trying to find it here. How many rear explosions from the Pinto? Snorks here. from the Pinto car? How many explosions from the? I think Stark probably knows more about this than I do. Snark's in.
Hey, Snark.
So just a few. So they, because of just a few people were killed. We're not talking thousands now. They pulled the car. Do you remember that, Snork? You do. He does. He's getting his stuff together. But they pulled that car. Now we're showing just 1% reporting of 35,000 regarding the mRNA vaccine, right? Or the vaccines in general in the United States, right? So here's the thing: how many people do we need to pull it? Because we have pulled it. They're not. They don't want. They're not making anybody take it anymore. But from my perspective, the damage has already been done. The other thing is when you have something this detrimental that you've been pushing, like for example, Trump said, take the vaccine, it works, and then he was on with Bill Riley as well, and they were both saying, oh, I took it, did you take it? Oh, I took it, did you take it? Oh, I took it, did you take it? Right? And that's what they were bragging about in one of his little Bill Riley interviews, and telling everybody to take it, and they were still getting boos. He was getting boos at that time. So
And I laugh at that.
yeah, well, I know, but the thing is he needs to, and I know Trump has a ton of freaking ego. This is going to be a tough one, but what I've been trying to get to his campaign, which I think I can, is if he knowingly knew that this thing was going to cause the damage that it has done, whether it's to your heart, your lungs, your body, whatever the case may be, if he knew, then he probably wouldn't have done what he did. But I think, this is my perspective, I believe Fauci was just a better salesman that day. And I know Trump is like the fucking art of the deal. That's his book, right? The art of the deal. But Fauci's been doing this a long time. He's sold many presidents, right? He sold many presidents and sold the idea that this was the cure-all to this big fear thing coming in. And I think that's what I am steering towards what belief, because I don't believe Trump would be a guy that would say, all right, let's give him this fucking genocidal bioweapon and kill as many people as we can. I don't think that's him. But I think Fauci knew. What do you think about that? Eric?
With me, it's really hard to tell with Trump because him being the fucking big pharma drug pusher he claims to go and be against. I mean it's starting to go and make me think a lot about it though.
I think he got sold. That's me. I just think he got sold. That's my perspective.
It sounds like he is being a fucking vaccine salesman and and fell for Fauci's bullshit. Either that or he had intent. Who knows?
I don't think he. Yeah, it's. But here's the thing, and I've been saying this ever since Stop the Steal magically disappeared, when Giuliani's laptop was pulled by the FBI. All of a sudden, he didn't have a backup. Giuliani, all of a sudden, doesn't have a backup anymore of all his investigations, of a ton of information of how bad 2020 was rigged, the reason and the process, and how and COVID helped make that happen. Let's fucking just put that on the table, because that's what fucking happened. But the thing is they stole it from him, or he knew. They stole it from him, or they coerced him, or they threatened him. I'm not sure. But in any case, no matter how you think of this guy won 2016. He fucking won 2016. He was even surprised he won fucking 2016. Do you remember the look on his face when he fucking won? I mean,
yes.
Yeah, because The thing was, is at that point, they had the Democrats were able to rig the primaries. Fucking we know that. We fucking know that, right? But they couldn't rig 2016 enough as they wanted to. So Trump got in. He was kind of pushed in because the Podesta files, if you remember
But
that,
that's the emails
the
and the
Podesta
DNC
emails. Yeah,
emails.
yeah, yeah. They picked three guys: Ben Carlson, Ted Cruz, and Trump, and the Democrats were saying, we can beat Trump. We'd have a better time beating Trump than we would fucking Ted Cruz or Ben Carlson, which Ben Carlson I don't know about, but actually the guy's pretty fucking smart. If just I'm just saying, after I've done a lot of research on the guy and the shit he's talked about. But anyway, um, so he gets in, he wins. They're kind of freaking out. Hillary's fucking torn, pissed off. She starts killing people. Seth Rich, all these people. The body bag counts are just fucking stacking up, right? The Clinton body bags. But he deserves a shot. He does.
John Lucas.
So that's what I'm saying. Is if push comes to shove, right? And he's still around and he's kicking and he's doing strong. This guy deserves. He was supposed to be the president. Does that make sense? He was supposed to be. They stole it from it. It was rigged. It was we fucking. There's no way in hell Joe Biden got 81 million fucking votes. He had like 12 to 20 people at his fucking rallies, while fucking Donald Trump had 20 to 30,000 people at each one of all of his rallies. There's just no way. The same thing happened to Bernie. Bernie had thousands and thousands of people, and fucking you pan out with one of Hillary's rallies. If you remember, there was like 35 people. Just fucking nuts. Yeah, I just think the country owes it to him. That in my opinion, I think the country owes this guy a seat because I believe he totally won. Now the new thing
Well,
is,
if we look
go ahead, sorry, go ahead, please.
if we look at it, it's criminal that it's even in doubt. That is so reasonable that the data that we have isn't right. That we can't say, and we shouldn't even be at that kind of situation where
I
we
know.
can't have a. And so, if we have two major jurisdictions that both disagree already, and it was a close election anyway, it's already to the point where, okay, we know that there are at least two elections worth of fraud. Primaries were rigged to the point where a lot of people left. So a lot of people voted other places just to get around the fact. But again, like I said, I'm just most upset that we're not even able to say, hey, the data looks like it's totally, totally good. And that we, this late in the next election, we haven't done anything to correct that is
Yes,
also,
yes.
uh,
Now go ahead. Sorry.
no, but to me, to me, it really looked like the Democratic Party took over the Green Party to put Howie Hawkins in. And
Right.
I, I don't know that for sure, but you know, I've never heard anybody, and maybe being from California, I've never heard anyone from what is it, Los Angeles, with a Southern accent.
No, there actually is a couple out in like San Diego. It's rare.
Yeah,
It's
maybe
rare. I know
like I
what you're
said,
saying. I know what you're saying.
but I was having problems with getting my computer on. It wanted to update.
Uh-huh.
Even Zoom wanted to update. But during the initial lockdowns, I mean, we were given so little time, but I do remember making a quick trip to Sam's Club. It's like an alternative to Costco. It's not as good as Costco, but it's part of the Walmart chain. And
Hmm.
all of the jewelry, was taken out before the shutdown was. Do you remember that? It's like I thought it was really unusual. I started noticing they were preparing for looting,
Oh my god.
Oh yeah,
and then
like they knew it was
you
coming.
know all of the buildings and stuff were getting boarded up. It was just unbelievable. It looked like we were in a war zone or something. And but I really thought, and if you guys remember, if you look back to any of the news articles, again, it's been 3 years already. But I seem to remember them telling everyone that the black people could not catch COVID
Oh my god.
about the time of the Floyd. It was like they were like basically telling them, go out and riot. You don't have to worry about COVID.
Ain't that some
Uh,
shit?
That's wild.
and I also remember. See, I'm like I think an hour and a half south of Minnesota,
Uh huh.
and my daughter's doctor is in Minnesota, and I can remember for like even now when you go to Minnesota from Iowa, all of the roads, even the side roads, had cameras on them to tell who was coming into the state. And
Wow.
so my my doctor had to go to a part of Mayo, or my daughter had to go to a part of Mayo that was actually at the corner of Wisconsin, or corner of Wisconsin and Minnesota.
Uh huh.
So I had to take her up there, and I just could not believe that I've never seen 7 cameras pointed at me when I crossed a border before. I'm like, am I in the United States? And then I noticed some on several trips that we had up there that we crossed that. Um, so I felt like everybody going in and out of Minnesota was being tracked.
That's wild. Here's.
And
Go ahead.
but the thing that really shocked me the most was I don't know if there was pre-notice to Walmart and places like that to get their valuable stuff hidden, and I have no idea where they hid all the valuable stuff.
Oh, I was watching. Like, I was traveling. In 2020, I went back to California twice. 2021 once. 2022, I think I went back again. But I just was really seeing a lot of traffic of people that looked like they were getting ready to go do uh, some interesting things. I don't know. I just had this weird feeling like these people were being paid. They're a bunch of paid actors. That's all I have to say. I just had this weird feeling, you know. Oh, they're just a bunch of paid actors out there going out and causing being
Rioting crisis actors.
crisis actors. Exactly. That's
Rioting crisis actors that
right.
identify as peaceful
Right.
protesters. And it's no wonder why,
Yeah.
these like fucking rich career criminal politicians don't
Yeah.
fucking
Yeah.
just go and bail out them fucking rioters because, I mean, they're part of it anyway because they all fucking, they all do things alike and they all fucking think alike.
Well, they're all out there. They're just getting paid. I mean, if somebody's going to say, "Hey, I'll pay you $5,000 if you go out to cause a ruckus or infiltrate this rally or this protest or this gathering,"
Yeah, like an insurrection.
yeah, no, yeah, they created mini insurrections.
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly. And they want to go and call January 6th an insurrection when the summer of 2020 was big, was one big giant insurrection.
mm. Do you guys so Snark, do you have your um your YouTube up at the same time? Just
I do.
you do, okay.
Let me.
All right.
Do you need me to do something there?
Yeah, I'm gonna no. I'm gonna just play it, and you can just watch this 5 second, 10 second delay instead of you having to
Okay.
do all that
Okay.
crap. I'm just gonna go through a couple things here. Yeah, just to kind of top that off, I'm when it comes to the early 2020, I was just really dumbfounded by how people were just, and I get it. I mean, I wore a mask. In the beginning I was like, what the fuck is going on, man? It hit me like a fucking, like a tsunami out of nowhere, right? Like a fucking tidal. But a lot of people now just are
I'm
questioning
just
shit left and right.
curious. Whatever happened
It's
about that
people don't
cocaine that was
question
found at the White House? We just don't care
Well,
anymore. We're over it.
we were
Ain't nobody gonna do nothing about
we were
it
given
anyway.
masks, and then
Just figures.
it's
It's a Biden thing.
3 years, it's hard
Well,
to
it's not
remember
funny.
the timeline exactly.
It's
when
nothing to
everything
gloss
happened.
over because
But I can
had that
remember
been any
being
other
given
president, any
masks
other president,
that,
there'd be issues.
from
There'd be an
school
actual
that actually looked
investigation.
like fancy underwear,
We
fancy women's
are
underwear.
the people. And there was
No,
cocaine
those
in the
were
White
those are my
House, and then
favorites.
just nothing.
And then we were told
Something is massively wrong with our
yeah, our
country.
masks
I mean,
weren't
we
good
already
enough
know that.
We had to upgrade
We already know
to,
that. But that just blows my mind.
and
I'm just
95.
gonna let it go, right?
Yeah, I almost couldn't
It's the
breathe in
American
that.
way. You guys can't do this stuff.
But
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
and that was in the fall. You know, we were basically just told to get out. You know, in the spring, just you gotta have 2 hours, grab your stuff and go home.
Like 2 hours to go out and do something, or
No, we were told we had spring break. During spring break, the teachers at the end of spring break
oh,
were
I think I
given a
remember you
notice.
telling me this, and they were telling you to go out and do something.
We were
Right?
supposed to go into school.
Uh,
We were supposed to stay 6 feet apart from everybody else.
right.
We were supposed to grab everything we needed to do to teach for the next 2 weeks, bug out and go home and teach from Zoom.
Right.
You know, then it turned out to be the rest of the school year.
Yeah.
But
Holy shit.
it was so bad that they went around in the school, and I'm sure it was not just our school's decision, to take all of the rolls of toilet paper out of the bathrooms and only leave one roll of toilet paper in each bathroom.
What?
What?
Because the toilets weren't 6 feet apart, so they had to disable all the toilets except one.
You gotta be
Well, I mean,
shitting me.
That's crazy.
the school has a lot of bathrooms, has a lot of different buildings on the campus. And I talked to other teachers and I said, was it just my building? Was it everybody's building? And it was everybody's building. They, they couldn't have, and besides, they figured that everybody's gonna be there 2 hours. They don't need to go to the bathroom while they're there.
Oh my god.
The sinks were turned off so people wouldn't use sinks beside each other. It was just
Yeah.
unbelievable.
Yeah. Basketball hoops. The baskets were taken down. Not just the chains, but the basketball hoops themselves. They took down the chains, and then they took out the hoops. I mean, I think blocked up all the fucking playgrounds. Isn't that crazy? What else?
And they
Go
made
ahead.
a law that if for the people that worked in the meat factories, food factories, if you didn't show up for work, you could go to prison.
For fuck's sakes.
So, like teachers, we were told, we needed to schedule. So we had to schedule. So if we forgot something or if we needed something else, because after 2 weeks they said, no, we're not coming back. We got to keep on going. They said, you need to come back, schedule a time. They'll let one person in the building at a time. Go in, get your stuff, get out. But like the grocery stores, they had to stay open. And it took me forever to get well. I was coughing until I got sick in February, and had a horrible cough until late May. And I did not, I don't want to give any medical advice. I'm not giving any medical advice here. Couldn't get rid of my cough. So there is one drink that actually has what ivermectin. I think it's ivermectin.
It's not Mountain Dew, Snork. Just letting you know.
Not Mountain Dew, but it ivermectin is based on contents in some other drink.
Oh.
And that's tonic water. And 3 days after I started drinking tonic water, I was gone.
Yeah, that was out there. People were saying tonic water for sure.
Hey,
Yeah.
I had something similar back in at late November. I couldn't get rid of the cough until like late January, early
In 2020?
February.
Okay.
Yes. Like it was from November 2019 that lasted that long. I
Yes,
got really sick.
we did have that in September of 2019 here as well. So I teach in two different departments, and one of the teachers in one of the departments had an aneurysm on his aorta. He actually was scheduled to
Really?
go in the next week and have his aorta replaced with something. I don't remember what this whole procedure was.
How the hell did that happen?
And a group of our teachers got sick, and our students and everything on the other side. I said, my students are getting really sick to the teacher. And I said, if you get what they have on the other side, that you're probably not going to survive your surgery. You might want to talk to your doctor about it. He called his doctor, and his doctor said, leave now. He just all of a sudden, pulled out. They agreed that something was going on. They need to get out of there. And so we did have something that really appeared to be the same disease as what a lot of our students got in the spring.
What was the disease?
Well, whatever COVID was.
You know for sure it was COVID?
And there's been a lot of things that
Yeah,
whatever we
COVID's
thought
out
was
there.
COVID
Yeah,
might have been.
it could have been. Yeah, there's just to let people know. I'm not saying there was nothing out there. I'm saying that we've had many flus that have been circulating, and what happens. This is just so people know, and I know you understand this, Snark and Eric, but in case people are actually accidentally watching my show, um, during winter months, there's less sunlight. You get less sunlight. You go out less. You're in the colder. It's hard. Your immune system does what it can, but it can only do so much. The seasonal thing happens. It's just the part of the body, but it usually corrects itself. Like, for example, me, I haven't had nothing. I had like the sniffles in early 2021. Like, I got like the sniffles and like, that's it. I had sniffles, tiny little cough. It was like a day and a half, and that was it. But I took my flu shot. I had a flu shot on November of 2019, right? And I think it was just the Johnson and Johnson regular flu shot, which I pretty much always took a flu shot like every few years. I remember taking one, right? The thing is um, it it's just the way we handled it. That's all. The flu is the flu, but if I don't believe there was like this gigantic, you know, horrific COVID thing that was just killing everybody because they handled it wrong, right? They just handled it. I think it was just all a scare. I mean, do you guys think that was kind of hyped up by the big
We had
pharmaceutical companies?
we had something real. We had of my students, I've had four of my students as parents. So it wasn't something that wasn't real going around. Not that I know exactly what it was or the
Yeah, I'm
mechanisms,
not saying it wasn't
but
exactly. It was there was something going around for sure. I'm not saying it wasn't. I'm just saying it. I don't think it was like deadly.
the
Hey, your mic's kind of dropping, by the way. Just letting you know.
does
Eric, can you hear it too?
Yeah, I hear her.
is it,
I can't hear.
No, is it dropping on your
let
end
me
too,
see
or is
what
it just me?
I can't hear
um
Snork though. Now, are you here,
I've
Snork?
got a note that my internet is failing. We
Uh,
have a
that's not good. Sorry.
we have a solar storm, so I'm probably going to need to go off and So I just have the message that internet's failing.
Oh, geez, yeah, it's probably all right. So what? Let's do this then. If you got to go, you
I'll
got to
just try
go.
to be quiet.
No,
And
no, it's just it's kind of. But what all that was happening is was just fading in and out. It wasn't. You were talking. We're picking up the yeah, out.
yeah,
You know that. You know you've been there. We've all been there before.
right there's a major series of solar flares going off today.
Mm.
And we should expect today, tomorrow. Tomorrow, the solar flare should be really bad, and we should actually
Oh, I want to see that.
have. Oh, it's possible. They're saying southern Minnesota and Wisconsin, we should have solar or northern lights tomorrow, but it is possible it could go farther south.
Northern. Do you think I think you can see it from where you're at. I'm not sure if you can see it from Missouri or Kansas City. I mean,
It'd be really rare to be able to see it from Missouri. There was
yeah.
one last year where you could have. You probably got there
That
right after.
that would yeah, that would be cool if we could, man. That would fucking be awesome. So
No,
on
it's
July
bad if you guys
10th,
can see it.
I'm reading right now. I've got the article up on July 10th. Um, there's a thing on solar flares here. A solar storm warning has just been released. Earth is in the firing line of terrifying M class and X class solar flares that could be unleashed by an unstable active region on the surface of the sun. Like that never happens, but it could be. Some of them are more fierce than others. That I know for sure. I was hoping to see because there's a website I was on a while back where they were showing the sun flares at real time. Fuck, live sun flares. That's what I got to put in here. But yeah, that could be a problem. I was gonna play some. I was playing it earlier, but you guys were going into some good topic. Do you mind if I play it now so you guys can hear it? Kind of go back
Go
on.
ahead.
Yeah. So what
All right.
this? Yeah. Thank you. So what this is this a lady pretty much doing, and she's on TikTok. I don't know who the fuck she is. Free Speech 3.0, I guess, is her handle or username on TikTok. But this is where I was, and this is where a lot of people were in 2020. Like all of us, basically. You know, we were all kind of just kind of concerned and, uh, you know, just just going, what? Just doing one of those, what?
Curious. Whatever happened about that cocaine that was found at the White House? We just don't care anymore. We're over it. Ain't nobody gonna do nothing about it anyway. Just figures. It's a Biden thing. Well, it's not funny. It's nothing to gloss over because had that been any other president, there'd be issues. There'd be an actual investigation.
Now, Obama would have got by with it. That's all I have to say. Here, I'll continue.
We are the people. And there was cocaine in the White House and then just nothing. Something is massively wrong with our country. I mean, we already know that. But that just blows my mind. Just gonna let it go, right? It's the American way. You guys can't do this stuff, but we in the White House, we can. Because it's a democracy, right? No, it's a constitutional republic that's ran like he's some king. I'm just curious.
Yeah, that's a good point. So what I was saying earlier is, and we kind of flew into the solar flares, which is fine. There's a lot of stuff we just don't trust, and a lot of people that were just trying to figure out why things aren't happening. For example, I didn't know it was a powder in a plastic bag. Once I found out, like a couple of days ago, that it was a powder, actually cocaine in a plastic bag, the first thing I thought of is what do people use when they're handling a plastic bag? Their hands. And what do fingers give? Fingerprints of their hands. So now I'm wondering, so with all this amazing technology and how they're able to I mean, find out everything about us whenever the fuck they want. Edward Snowden will tell you that. Um, they can't find out whose fingerprints were on that bag.
Well,
Nobody's.
the first reports of what they found, they were
Yeah,
talking about it being medical grade. So they're probably making sure he wasn't getting fentanyl. But if it was medical grade, that meant there was a prescription.
yeah, that's a good way to
Or
get
there
out
should
of
have been,
it.
yeah. So
Yeah,
there should have been a source for that. And
exactly.
I don't see how this should happen. I also think maybe we need to be rethinking the rules of the Secret Service, uh, where they're permitted to say if the person's committing a crime.
Well, here the problem is whatever administration runs is whoever has the House, the Senate, and POTUS runs everything supposedly, right? It's supposed to be running everything. In this particular situation, and many others in the past, not just this one, I've always said within the past 2 or 3 years now that the Department of Justice just isn't around anymore. There is no actual Department of Justice. I don't see them. Once we knew that Russiagate that had been, you know, we've been smacked around with that for 7 years, was a complete and total farce, which we all knew from fucking day one. But now they have proof of it. It's been completely revealed, and there's documents and videos and all this other and whistleblowers. I mean, they have the biggest case in the world to prove that, but nothing's happening. And then now we have so many other things in regards to how they infiltrated our First Amendment rights, and the FBI was giving instructions to the platforms such as Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, etc., saying, "Oh, you can print this. If somebody says that, take that out. This we want to push. This you don't want. This we can do." So they were violating our First Amendment rights at every turn because these are American companies. But they shouldn't have been a part of that. That's the biggest problem. And a judge just ruled, by the way, a judge just ruled, and I should have grabbed that video, and I will, that there's an injunction. I don't know if you read about it. Do you guys know about the injunction for the FBI to stop, the FBI, Department of Justice, NIA, CDC, to no longer have contact with anybody at social media anymore. It's unconstitutional. That should have been the way in the beginning, right? Unless it's like an emergency where the sky is actually falling and they can warn us. I get that. Does that make sense? But what they were doing before is they were creating narratives. They were stripping debates, channels like mine. Like I'm on my eighth. We're on my eighth right now. Hopefully, I still have like my seventh, and I think I still got my sixth. But the thing is with that ruling, the problem is the injunction is. There's two problems. The first problem is the Biden administration is appealing it. I don't know if they won or they lost. I'm not sure yet. I think they lost, but I'm still looking at that. You can check that out for yourself. The biggest problem is all the damage has already been done. How convenient. All the damage has already been done. The systems and guidelines are still in play. So if you read through, and I have a copy of that, which I put out on Twitter and Facebook for anybody to look up on my Twitter and Facebook channel, you can see it says cease and desist or halt and stop all your shit and your actions and your crap now. But don't change what you've been doing in the past. That's why people are still talking in code on YouTube and on Facebook and on Instagram. That's why people are still watching the things that they say on YouTube, on Facebook, on Instagram, on WhatsApp and Snapchat or whatever they fucking have infiltrated the most. So a lot of those community guidelines that got me shut down, a lot of those, laws and procedures and rules or whatever they created from 2020 to this day, to that point, just a week or so ago, when that injunction happened, are still there. Are still there. And that's the thing that I'm just like, why did you do it? I mean, the problem wasn't the part of the problem is stopping them. There's two. The whole problem, half of the problem of this, let's say it's a ball, and half of the ball, this cannon that's fucking everybody up and blasting through houses and tearing down First Amendment rights. Here's the metaphor. The first half is they're doing it. That's one. That they just removed. The other one is those guidelines are still smashing our first and violating our First Amendment rights. Those processes are still out there. So I've been trying to contact, the two leaders of this process, which was Eric Schmidt, and I forgot the other guy's name from Louisiana, who put together this lawsuit, took it to the court, and in a sense, it's a win, but the damage is already done. What if we didn't? If, let's just say, in the very beginning, these companies in the very beginning were sought after as, wait a second, you're stripping down people that have questions, want to debate with people on both sides of the aisle. What, let's take care of that now. But if you guys can kind of understand, it seems more convenient now, after the damage is done, after everybody's already, 75% of the American public, 68, I think, percent of the people in the United States right now have had at least one mRNA COVID vaccine. Damage has already been done. Some have had 2, 3, or 4, whatever. People have lost their businesses already. People have lost their incomes, lost their jobs, lost their homes, lost their vehicles, repossessed, from the lockdowns and all this other stuff. The damage has already been done. You still can't talk about certain things. It's just this lady's, what she's saying is nobody's going to do anything about it because, like I said, the Department of Justice just doesn't exist. I don't see them putting away Hunter Biden and his father when Hunter is clearly stating in a phone conversation with some, I think it's Burisma, I'm not sure what the company was, but he's clearly stating in the phone conversation, my dad is here with me now. And actually that makes sense because the Corvette that his father owns, I guess that's Joe Biden, he has a picture of him in that Corvette on that same day that he put out on fucking Instagram or something like that people were able to capture. So not only do you...
Go
ahead.
Senator Charles Grassley today actually brought up that, and
I heard something about that.
But he's got more than that. He's got the proper documents and everything. He was telling the document numbers and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So tomorrow, when you're doing your research, look up Charles Grassley, what he did today.
I'll do it right now.
Grassley or Ly.
Right, yeah.
And but he wants to file formal inquiries to what was happening, and I concur. I also I feel it is very, very bad, especially what happened today in Europe with Biden.
Mm-hmm.
When he went in to a press conference, made a strange face, and then walked out.
Who did?
So he wouldn't answer any questions. And
who? Biden?
Yeah, and during all of the places where they see him, he looks more confused than he ever has. and
How could that even happen? He's more
and
confused than he
uh,
ever has.
but so I think it's very bad. I don't think there wouldn't have even been a problem with Ukraine if Putin had thought we'd had a cognitive president in place. But as bad as I think that Biden is, I
Yeah.
am far more fearful of how bad Kamala is going to be. And I think I'll call Grassley tomorrow and ask him to look into the incident where basically Kamala was keeping California prisoners who had finished their sentence
Uh-huh.
in prison to be used as cheap labor. I consider that slavery.
Oh yeah, I remember that. That we brought that up during 2020. We all talked about
And
that. Yeah.
I think that we
Why
should consider slavery a crime. I'm not sure if it actually says it's a crime or not, but if it is, then she should be gone. There's and in the event um, that Kamala Harris is impeached
Well, I
before
think
Biden, if Biden then gets impeached, then the Speaker of the House is automatically the president.
Yeah, so I think that would be a good idea. I mean, not that I'm a big super fan of Kevin McCarthy, but for fuck's
Oh, I'm
sake,
not either. But
but I would
can
rather
he say
have
a
him,
sentence?
huh?
He can say a sentence, right?
Yeah, he can actually. Here, you guys got to let me play this real quick. This is Kamala Harris. I got to play this since we're talking about it. It's just fucking hilarious. Okay, you guys want to? Okay, please stand by. It'll take 2 seconds. This one's quick. It's like 26, 20, 30 seconds. I'll stop talking. Here we go.
well, I think culture it, it is a reflection of our moment and our time, right? And present culture is the way we express how we're feeling about the moment. And we should always find times to express how we feel about the moment that is a reflection of joy, because it comes in the morning. We have to find ways to also express the way we feel about the moment in terms of just having language and a connection to how people are experiencing life. And I think about it in that way too.
What the fuck is she saying? Did you guys hear?
Yeah,
Is there,
I'm not familiar with how somebody on cocaine acts.
but
Uh,
that's it.
is it
That's
possible
no. That's
that it's
exactly.
her?
I got to tell you, Hunter and her probably do bumps. That's the terminology, by the way. They probably do cocaine lines and fucking line them up all the time. I would guarantee these two fuckers are just partying like rock stars. But
I
yeah,
should say
that is a great example of somebody on too many medications. Perfectly. Nancy Pelosi
I
is
just,
also one.
I mean, I just don't see her when she's asked a serious question do anything but giggle.
No, really, it's really startling. It's scary.
it's like Hillary Clinton is scary.
Yeah, this chick is lost. There's another video. I'm not going to go look it up, but and I'll just kind of explain it. She
She
was
probably fuck her way through democracy.
yeah, she fucked it. Well, but here's the thing. This lady was up there talking seriously. This black older lady talking about rights and minimum wage and all this really important shit, and said something that was pretty astute, in my opinion. And the first thing this fucking crazy woman did, crazy Kamala, she just starts fucking laughing, just laughing. I'm like, what the fuck are you laughing about? This is something that was near and dear to this lady's heart. And she just
She,
laughed at it like it didn't mean, like it was a fucking joke. It was it was so telling that this creature, Kamala Harris, whatever it is is completely gone. She's gone. And I understand your fear that she could be running the country. But I think she'll be implemented in some things too, because I think if they take them both out, then McCarthy will be running the country for the rest of the hopefully the year. I would rather have he, who sadly is a young, a world a World Economic Forum, you know, he's on there. Nobody's saying that he's like,
We can go and make him into a whipping boy. Whipping boy.
yeah, but
Well,
I would
at
rather
least
have
he,
I would rather have Kevin McCarthy tenfold than fucking Biden or Kamala Harris. That's I'm just
yeah,
for sure.
we actually need a president. We need a president that has at least some level of dealing with things that actually happen in real
Exactly.
life.
Yeah.
We need somebody that understands what happens. Now we've had in the last what 8 years, we've had now a president and another person who did not grow up in the United States. So we've a lot of the time, uh, Obama lived in
Kenya.
where?
Kenya.
Kenya,
Yeah.
not Kenya.
Very.
Was it Thailand? Or Malaysia. He lived in different places other than where.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where did
I think
where did Kamala go to high school?
culture.
I don't know. Like L.A.
No, you're way too south.
was
Talk about someplace north
was
of
it Canada?
Canada.
What?
I don't know. I don't know where. Could you tell
Yes,
us?
yeah. Like I can't remember if it was Toronto.
Oh, so she's from
Was it?
Canada?
Canada?
No, she's not a Canadian. She was born in the United States.
Okay.
I'm with
But
Canada education.
her, yeah, pull it up.
Hmm.
I believe her father was, I can't remember if he was Haitian. Can't remember where exactly he's from, but her mother was from India, but she was born in the
Oh
United States.
yeah, she's not really African American.
And then she
Yeah,
went.
she's not black.
So she moved. Well, she moved to Canada, where her mother got a job
Hmm.
when she was little. So, but she was actually in a part. Maybe she was actually in a part English or that spoke English, but it was in the territory that spoke French.
Hmm. Oh wow.
So, but again, uh, here we need people to understand what we need to know. Not we're so wealthy they could come in and buy their way through school. By the
Yeah.
way, I don't know
Yeah.
that she bought her way through school.
Nah, I don't think so.
Oh
She
no,
probably fucked her way.
I
Rule
think
that
you're
out.
close, but
That
according to the
just is
rumors,
disgusting. I don't even. I would never.
you're talking about the wrong orifice. Uh,
Yeah, just thinking about that, it makes me want to hurl.
She's a
Like,
hoe. She's a fucking hoe.
oh my god. Yeah,
I
so
mean,
there's a lot of from what I'm okay. Here it is. Anything but those two, please. I don't fucking care. Snork. I know you could do a thousand time better job. Eric, you could do a thousand time better job. Cheryl could do a thousand time better job. I could do a kind of okay job. But there's people out there that could do a bazillion times better job than what these fucking criminals are doing now. That's for damn
yeah,
sure. That's for damn
let
sure.
me put it this way:
Yeah,
there are 12 people. I think it's 12, 8. How many people are in the president's cabinet now? Is it 8?
I
One
guess.
of their main responsibilities is to, if the president appears to be not cognizant, to actually use the 25th Amendment and pull them out of office. To me, all of these people, because basically a lot of the people who are in the cabinet are going to be in line to possibly be the next president. To me, anybody, especially if they saw what Biden did today, not even bringing into the fact about what's going on with the drugs and stuff,
Right.
but if they saw him today and they haven't invoked the 25th Amendment, not a single person in that cabinet is to me capable of being president of the United States because they do not understand the responsibility of the 25th Amendment.
Yeah. So we need to invoke that. So here's the thing. So Congress can do that, right? I think the House can start the
No,
process.
it has to start by one of the people. It has to start by the vice president or the cabinet, and then they need the agreement of a majority of
Oh,
either the.
Jesus.
I think it's 12 people have to agree. So
No,
they
I
need
think it's
some people in the
states.
cabinet.
I think it's the
No, it first has
states.
to be people. Well, it's the people in the cabinet, and then after that, they can fill in with senators or congressmen. So they need at least one person in the cabinet that says invoke the rule, and then they need to find Speaker of the House, Supreme Court. They need somebody at that level to pull them out. So they have to be cabinet level or above.
I could have sworn it had something to do with the Senate rep the House representatives of each state.
Well, if you took the representatives from each state, you'd have to have a majority of all of the representatives in Congress all agree. They could never
No,
get that many people to agree.
no,
But
but I
when
think it
it
has to be
comes,
a majority, doesn't it? I'm almost. I could have sworn it was
yeah,
a.
it does.
Yeah,
But you also need the cabinet members. So
uh
in
huh.
we should pull that up.
I'm looking at it right now. I just,
So the
I
first one is
just pulled
Kamala
it up.
Harris. Kamala Harris,
All right, let me get
she
to
can
it.
initiate it. She just then needs to take it to the cabinet,
All right,
and then after
here
the
we
cabinet,
go.
if anybody in the cabinet doesn't agree, she can fill in with people like Supreme Court justices or whatever's necessary. Is it Supreme Court or just Senate and Congress?
All right. Whenever there is a vacancy in the office of the president shall nominate a vice president. Okay, we got that section 3. Whenever the president transmits it to President pro tempore for the Senate and the Speaker of the House of the Representatives, his written declaration that he is unable to discharge the powers and duties of his office, and until he transmits to them a written declaration to the contrary, such powers and duties shall be discharged by the Vice President as an acting president. There's a lot going on here. Whenever the Vice President and the majority of either the principal officers of the executive departments or of such other bodies as Congress may by law provide transmitted to the President pro tempore of the Senate and the Speaker of the House Representatives their written declaration that the President is unable to discharge the powers and duties of his office, the Vice President shall immediately assume the power and duties of office and the acting president. I'm trying to get past that.
Yeah, so that's a lot going on there, but basically
Yeah.
that's those people's responsibility, and they haven't done it. They haven't done it for this many months, and they've been around the person. And I'm out here in Iowa because I was taking care of somebody with dementia.
Uh-huh.
There are looks on the face that I recognize as somebody to me.
Yeah.
I had every month I went to a family support thing where we learned about dealing with people with dementia.
Oh yeah.
And no matter what I'd say, seeing all the other patients and whatever, I can't say that I feel that anybody that has that cabinet position. Remember the executive officers of the president. It's
Mm-hmm.
called out in that amendment. That's the actual term for the cabinet. So
Yeah.
anybody that's in that cabinet, if they have not brought forth the question of his being demented, then they're not qualified to be there. Buttigieg is one of them. Did Buttigieg run for president? Is he going to run again?
Yeah,
Well,
probably.
to me, he's just proved that he's not qualified.
He's not. He's a piece of shit.
Maybe
All
there's
right,
some
I'm going to read
fire.
this other one. I'll try to make this quick. Okay, so the president. Therefore, when the president transmits to the president pro tempore of the Senate and the Speaker of the House Representatives his written declaration that no inability exists, he shall resume the power and the duties of his office unless the vice president and the majority a majority of either the principal officers of the executive department, which you're talking about, there's 8 or 12 of them, right? Or of such other body as Congress may by law provide transmit within 4 days to the President pro tempore, which is whoever's the president or selected, of the Senate and the Speaker of the House of the Representatives, their written declaration that the President is unable to discharge the powers and duties of the office. Thereupon, Congress shall decide the issue, assembling within 48 hours of the purpose of it not in session. If the Congress within 21 days after the receipt of the latter written declaration, or if Congress is not in session within 21 days after Congress is required to assemble, determines by two-thirds vote of both houses that the President is unable to discharge the powers and duties of his office, the Vice President shall continue to discharge the same as acting President. Otherwise, the President shall resume the powers and the duties of the office. So that's what I was talking about. The Congress is right here. Where it says determines the two-thirds vote, which is a lot for the House. I don't think that would ever happen.
Well, it also brings up what's going on with Feinstein and Fetterman. I think it's Fetterman. So we have two people. My battery's dying.
Oh.
We have two people in the Senate that appear to not be cognizant. Feinstein, she can't even say where she is.
Yeah,
she might be in a worse state. I don't know.
Yeah.
And then there is Fetterman, who has had strokes and appears to not be able to string together a sentence. And realistically, we need people in these houses to actually govern and govern well. And if they can't think, if they can't speak, they can't govern well. They need somebody. But while they're in there, we've had cases in the past where when it came time for a vote, the nurse would raise the person's hand, yes or no. And I don't think that's the case. That not in this case. This was people in the past, and I believe that we need to start having some limits on when these people are considered competent. And
for sure.
Yeah. But so right now, if they lose Fetterman and they lose Feinstein, if Kamala Harris were to be pulled out of being vice president, the vice president replacement would be picked by the Senate, and if there was something else, the Congress would actually pick the president. So, but in the case and I think that's actually possibly why they're not letting Feinstein and Fetterman leave. They cannot have that risk that the Republicans would be able to say, you're out.
Yeah, I think they're going to do whatever they can. I think if they don't do it now, we're totally screwed. I mean, any action removing this. I mean, the reason why there's a Fetterman, the reason why there's derelicts and demented people in offices right now is because they're easy to manipulate. Parasitic predator globalists that run the fucking world. This is this is it. They love.
We also have to be very careful with that. There's a lot of lawsuits and stuff going on. A lot of these people, defamation suits and stuff. A lot of these people are ephebophiles, and a ephebophile difference. The ephebophile is somebody that likes somebody from like 10 years old to 20 years old.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, God.
So a lot of them are ephebophiles. And you call them a pedophile, and they've still, we're talking about, crimes against minors still. But if we call them a pedophile and they're a ephebophile, they could go to court, get off on it, saying, I'm not a pedophile, I'm a pedophile.
What?
So you charge them with the wrong thing, they can get off on it. I mean, well, that's the wrong way to say that.
That's craziness.
Call them kid
So
fuckers.
we have to get used. That's better. So, but again, not only that, but you call them a pedophile and they're a ephebophile, you can get sued for it.
Billy, but Jesus.
You could have done nothing wrong, just not knowing that there's a difference. But what happens when you don't know that there's a difference and there is a difference and you're in court? The lawyers, if they know, they can get you. So,
Yeah.
do you like to remind people? Just say they're P's or E's instead.
No, I'm as
And some
far
are
as these
both.
people are concerned. Look, in my videos, I've already proven that
Well, it looks
the
like they want to go and use the law to actually go and protect them for their kid fucking shenanigans.
well, you guys
Yeah.
And those
okay.
lawyers would be a bunch of kid fucker apologists too.
So
There probably are.
So CEI is called Corporate Equality Index. That was created by the big think tanks at the World Economic Forum, the Council on Foreign Relations, Trilateral Commission, and a few others, along with BlackRock, State Street, Fidelity, Vanguard. You know, the big fucking asset holding companies or whatever. They created this, right, to cause hate, to cause division, to cause it's more of a distraction than they implemented it or brought it out, right, by their new elected puppet. Her name was Kelly Robinson of HRC, Human Rights Campaign, which I used to have one of those stickers for my nephew on one of my trucks. I think it was my blue Dodge. Or, I think it was I think it was my Ford F-150, because he came out and he was gay, and I don't have a problem with that. But what happened, and that was back in, I don't know, 2004, 2005, 2006. I think I remember when I had that on there for him. But the thing is in 2016, they created CEI, Corporate Equality Index, right? They bring this thing out and they announce it at a Davos meeting, a big Davos meeting in 2016. And there's big speakers, Kelly Robinson. She's been on, just shut down a bunch of times with this new woke crap. But that's where the plus came from LGBTQ. Does that make sense? So what? And I've thrown all this out. I put all the videos. If you look at some of my videos, either this channel or the other channel, I'm not sure which one anymore, but you'll see, especially you'll see it in Odyssey, that that's how that was created. There's so many things out there to throw us off our game, to distract us, to force us against each other, to clearly and unequivocally, without a doubt, create a distraction. And as I've always said, if we keep fighting each other, we'll never know who the true enemy is. Because the true enemy are these fucking pedo, predator class type people. They're fucking out there. And they've been controlling and pulling strings for a long time. I know it's hard for some people to gather. I know it's hard for some people to understand. But they're really good at what they do. They have a ton of money to market it, to brand it, to advertise it, to have the news talk about it. They've used their money, influence, and power to control narratives. You guys have seen all this stuff. All I'm saying is this is where I come in, and what I've been trying to do is to stop this, was stop the World Economic Forum, or stop the WEF.org, is basically a metaphor, because I know that the World Economic Forum isn't the only entity. It's ETAL and everybody and alike, right? All their cronies, all the supporters, all the branches.
Scheme artists.
Yeah. Well, all the others that are involved in all this, they're part of this giant process. And as I've said, it goes to this, and it's always gone to this. There's no other conclusion. There's no other way to look at this, and it's hard for people to. It's very hard for many people to take this in. But mass social control, 15-minute cities, facial recognition, vaccine passports. You own nothing and like it. You have to eat the bugs, right? mass social control obtained by central bank digital currency, which is Fed now, which is if they have that, then they have absolute all control. Then a handful of people have total control of all the wealth of the planet. They have it in a sense now, but we still autonomously can store $1 billion in some fucking bunker, right? And they wouldn't know about it unless they use their cameras, of course. But my point, and then the third one is the hardest one for people to wrap their heads around. And this has to do with eugenics. This has to do with this group of people like Bill Gates and many others, and they're part of this society. The Kellogg's, the Rothschilds, they think they're just the chosen bloodline, right? And they want to hoard the planet for themselves. They only need a few 100,000 people to please them and take care of them for the rest of their lives, and to do whatever, clone each other. I don't know what the fuck they're doing. So that's their goal, and these are all just distractions. There's in all the research that I've done for the past 3.5 years, at least 3.5, almost 3.5 years. This is it. Their mass the population is number one, mass social control, and then they'll gain that through central digital bank currency. And it's sad because nothing's happening. We're not seeing anything fixed. We're talking about hopefully Kamala Harris will be will not make vice president because the Congress will come in and say, fuck you, we're not using those people. But the whole 25th Amendment doesn't seem like it's going to help anybody. Even if they do get rid of Biden, then Kamala becomes the person. But all that right there is not really coming into fruition. Now, Grassley, which you talked about earlier, Snork, right? Grassley, and I had his information up here a second ago. Wait. Let's turn it. What did I do with it? Anyway, so he... oh, here it is, yeah. So Grassley has some pretty serious information and some documents. But what are the chances that they're going to take Biden, actually remove him before 2024? I mean, what do you guys think?
Very slim chance.
Yeah.
Very slim chance.
Yeah, exactly. I just think it's all been a fucking gigantic dog and pony show for a long time. I've been talking about this, They still, I mean, how many times have we all talked about Citizens United? Remember? Nobody thinks about Citizens United. That was the biggest door opener. That was created in 2009, 2010. Right? So when the House and the Senate and POTUS had 75 or 76 days of total and absolute majority control, they came up with what? Obamacare. Right? They didn't reverse Roe versus Wade. They didn't codify it. They didn't, raise the minimum wage to where it should be. They didn't keep that law going because the minimum wage hasn't been touched since 2009. Nobody's even talking about it. Right? They haven't give us any free college or free trade at least, or any way to help kids get the education in math and real science, right? Now math is 2 + 3 = 4. I mean, there was a girl, and some woke girl was on fucking MSNBC or CNN, one of them, Fox or something, and she argued that 2 + 2 = 5. Well, how do we know it's not 5? It could be 6. Just fucking craziness. That's all by design, to confuse, discombobulate people. Just fucking what we're going through right now, guys. It all went, in a sense, warp speed. Just from my bazillion hours of research, right? Besides working full time, I spend a lot of time, and I don't get paid to do this. Try to find what the fuck's going on out there, and from my perspective, it's pretty obvious. The Great Reset is not stopping. I don't care what anybody else thinks. The only thing that I did see, I know they still want it. It's still happening. Agenda 2030, Great Reset, New World Order, Great Industrial, whatever you want to fucking call it, whatever Dr. Evil Klaus Schwab wants to call it. The only thing that I've seen recently is when Janet Yellen went to China a couple days ago. When she went to China, she was there for two reasons. I put it on Twitter. She was there to either say, "Hey, we're going to start implementing our central bank digital currency system. Are you on board?" Or she was kissing ass trying to get the dollar wedged back in to China and Russia and Saudi Arabia and all these other countries, bailing out of the dollar, trying to get them to get back. Now I'm not sure how that went, but that could be the only reason. Right now, guys, all I'm saying is we're in a very, very touchy place. And I'm just trying to bring attention to people to, you know, let them know that we need to freaking stop the World Economic Forum and all that stuff. I mean, do you guys think that the World Economic Forum and all their associates, there's a question, have any influence or are an opposing threat to mankind right now? I'm just asking.
Wouldn't be surprised.
What about you, Snark?
Well, I don't think we can lay out anything right now. There's almost no news organizations we can trust.
Yeah.
So if we're in a state where we can't trust any of our data, how can we say even that we know anything?
Well, what's wrong with my data?
No, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with yours.
No. I'm
But
not
I'm
saying
saying
there's nothing wrong. I'm just saying this is why I'm shut down. This is why
yeah,
James Corbett can't fucking put anything on. If you've heard of James Corbett, he has to soften up his language, and Ryan Christensen has been taken down off of YouTube a few times. Whitney Webb, she's only sound bites if you can hear of what she has. Once she starts getting to the deep stuff, they have to jump to Rumble. Everybody's got to jump to Rumble because they don't want people to know what's happening. Like I'm saying, it sucks. And now we have to deal with, let's just say Kamala, let's just say they are able to get, which is very slim, but let's just say they got enough on him for a full impeachment. Like, I think that's where Grassley's going with all this stuff, right? Like, you can be impeached, but you can still keep running. You can be impeached, but then you can get prosecuted. Am I correct, Snork?
yeah, you are correct.
Yeah. So what happened to Trump is he was impeached, but wasn't fully prosecuted. There was nothing on you can throw the impeachment out there, right? You can do it 20 times if you want to. Oh, you're being impeached. But when you're actually impeached and removed, right? That's when shit gets real. What happened to Clinton? Did that happen to Clinton, or who was it?
I can't remember what happened with Claymore.
No, was Clinton
It all came
impeached
down
and
to they couldn't define what the meaning of "is" was.
yeah, Clinton impeached. I think it was impeached Clinton.
But I did hear an interesting one now.
But
Is that one of the impeachments of Trump has now been proven that Trump was correct. Does he get an apology treatment for his impeachment?
right,
For
no, they should all. I mean, January 6th is a great example. I mean, if you've seen the videos, you remember the videos That freaking. I mean, we saw a lot of that shit before Tucker even had it up. We knew a lot of
Well,
but go ahead.
especially now that they're seeing that it's mostly FBI agents.
Over 200. It's been now seen over not just Ray Epps, but over 200 of them. Over 200 FBI agents were sent out to instigate a makeshift insurrection, and then the goal was to put Trump's name on it and to get him in trouble so that um, to keep him out of office, or whatever they could do to they've swung a lot of fucking bats at this guy. I mean, come on. I've never seen, Nixon took like a couple of swings, but he went down. Remember?
Yeah,
Clinton's impeachment was Clinton was the second U.S. president to face a Senate impeachment trial after Andrew Johnson. An impeachment inquiry was opened for Clinton on October 8, 1998. He was formally impeached by the House on two charges, perjury and obstruction of justice, on December 19th, 1998. Right? Wasn't that trippy?
yeah.
Now,
Well,
go ahead.
just the fact that all of this is going on is again outside the realm of what should even be considered reasonable. Remember, as bad as everybody thought Nixon was, Nixon thought it was so bad that he was just even going to be impeached, that he resigned to prevent the United States from having to go through it.
Mm-hmm.
He just, okay, uh, Ford is the president. We still had hearings and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
but he did not continue on as being president because he didn't want a president to actually be sitting that was going through impeachment. And you got to give him some credit for that.
Yeah, no, I look, my grandfather said Nixon was just caught up in all the crap. I remember him saying something like that a long time ago. He fell for it, and he jumped into it, and he fucked up. So that's what happened. And I'm not sure how that worked out or what that really pertained to, because I really didn't know much about it, but he was following it pretty severely. The what I'm just kind of really baffled by lately is there's a lot of talk coming from the House that took the House majority recently, right? But I'm not seeing a lot of things happen. It's almost like watching the Democrats. Remember the Democrats when they started Russiagate, and they started all these other gates, and they had the strippers. Yeah, I've been fucking something. It's like nothing happens. It's people are pissed. A lot of Republicans I'm watching on TikTok, they're just like in like these shorts are like, what is going on? Nothing's happening. These people are still fucking up our country. They're still the prices of gas are still high. The food's still gone. Eggs are still $5. Just craziness. You know, it's just nuts, and nothing's really happening. So that's the thing that's just really bothering me is now I'm starting to see that momentum switch of the blamers, the accusationers, the 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 pot calling the kettle blackers. Oh, you are the conspiracy guy now. Oh, you. So now they're throwing all that stuff at Joe Biden, but is anything going to happen? Now we know on all the stuff, we know fucking everything, and the kitchen sink is still being thrown at Trump, but nothing's sticking yet. But now they're going to start throwing. It's like watching monkeys throw poop at each other at a fucking zoo. You guys ever seen that? I've seen it. I've fucking seen it. It's really, you don't want to be in the area once they start doing it because they'll start throwing it at you. Um, you don't want to be in the areas. You don't want to be a part of that. What's they call that? When you're cannon fodder, not cannon fodder. When you're next to like shrapnel and shit. Uh, what you might call it? Pub. Anyway, it'll come to me. You know, when you're next to the war or like a bomb, you're collateral damage. You don't want to be collateral damage. And it seems like it's just a show, bro. I don't know, man. I'm just not seeing anything happening. 2020, everybody's waiting for, some hero, Robert F. Kennedy or
Xavier.
some savior to come and fucking save us. I don't know if we're gonna have time with the CBDC happening and this genocidal process of what's going on and Ukraine getting worse. Just all these things that are just it's just not getting better. Nothing's really stopping it. This tsunami of feces that the United States has been able to produce. I mean, they just freaking approved $886 billion to the military industrial complex while everybody was fucking down at the goddamn Titanic motel, right? Talking about some fucking bazillionaires that probably just wanted to escape life or were wanted for some reason and left. Who knows what really happened? But they just approved that, like with not even blinking an eye. Fucking the Capitol said, let's give the military-industrial complex, you know, more money. I mean, they've gotten 680, and this is the number I've used, and you guys can look it up. It's probably closer. Since 2001, the average amount has been about $680 billion. Every year, like
Yes,
clockwork.
that
That's crazy.
that was another part of what Grassley did today. He's got like 13 phone conversations showing that
Oh.
um, uh, Biden was being blackmailed to send all that money.
Like,
And
what
that,
blackmail?
if
Okay,
that
I
is
heard about
true,
this.
that is going to
Blackmailed.
hit the news tomorrow.
So it's going to be on the
Oh,
news
sorry.
tomorrow.
Yeah.
You know what? Wait a second. I saw something about this, and I saved it. I think on TikTok or something. I could have sworn I just saw something about this. Uh, Hold on. Let me look at this one.
Now for the real news, a recent tweet from Roger Stone has ignited speculation about a potential Trump-Kennedy ticket in
Oh, not that one.
2024. Stone's tweet suggests
hold
that
on.
combining Trump's anti-establishment
I think it was this. Hold on. Hold on.
The #1 movie in America is a movie about child.
Yeah. Anyway, I thought I saw it. I probably just glazed over it and didn't save it in my favorites. But yes, I'm not totally privy of that, but I kind of heard something about it. You were saying? So what do you think will happen if that information comes out? Is it going to do anything?
I'm very worried that that would be a tipping point of something that might cause Kamala Harris to become president.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh my God. That sucks. What was the guy's name? Something Grassley?
Yeah, Charles Grassley.
Charles. He's been around for a while.
He's been the senator of Iowa since the Jurassic era.
When we were one continent, I guess. Right. So Chuck Grassley, that's the guy's name. He's been around fucking forever. Let's see what he's got here. He entered USDA. Very. When was this? That was July 8th. Let's see if we got something here. Met with CMS HRSA second day, asking how they're helping American families wait. Let me see if we got anything in media. Nothing. Alright, I'm going to check here. I'm curious about this to see what he's got. Chuck Grassley. Met with O'Leary. Known as the Wonderful Farm. Spending accountability. Applaud Supreme Court ruling student debt forgiveness. Just briefed Hunter Biden team. Go ahead, sorry.
He also has a problem with the fact that they redacted information from some of the reports of the federal filings.
Yeah. Yep. I think I had that somewhere.
He's using the right terms that really mean that trouble can be made.
All right. So he's throwing out some words out there that could be very... That could seal the deal. That's what you're saying.
Yeah.
Because we know the words like could be, maybe, possibly, or if you have things like conviction, right? Those kind of words. Unequivocally.
No, I mean he's saying that purposely redacted information about this person that turns it from the realm of being not being a crime. So it's not like he's making aspersions like when, let's say, MSNBC doesn't like a candidate that's running against Biden, they will often put an extra adjective in front, or adjective in front of the person's name, saying this slimy person or whatever. Anybody but who they want to win will always have something. That's not an embellishment like that. This is like
real.
Grassley was stating facts of almost like what would be prepared to put an impeachment together.
Was it a company that they redacted, or was it a person?
Person.
Okay. All right. I could have sworn. I could have sworn I saw something on him somewhere. And of course it's not on his fucking Twitter because he's older than, I don't know, dirt, and he doesn't have that on there. Let me see if I got replies here.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he graduated high school with Moses.
And Cro-Magnon. Lucy. And you ever heard of Lucy? Yeah, you have.
Yeah.
There's what's interesting is I'm not finding anything. I could have sworn, dude, I had this somewhere, and I put it up, and I think I mentioned something like, sure, something's gonna happen, sure. All right, I could have sworn. Let me just see. I got it. I think I put it here. Hang on. Nope. Wait, was this it? TikTok? No. 9/11. Anyway. There was one that I put out there. Could have sworn I saw it today. Must have just briefly went through it. Well, I hope something happens. I really am getting sick of watching Joe Biden stumble around physically and mentally and verbally. It's just really degrading. Fetterman is just a travesty. It's amazing to me. And, Feinstein obviously is being held up by wires. I don't know how that lady's even still existing, honestly. It's pretty fucked up out there. It's just, I don't know, but compared to any other administration, would you say that this administration has done the most damage to our nation? Because I'm going to say yes. But what's your thought?
Yeah, I concur.
Yeah. Not, I mean, the dollar's almost, in a sense, gone. And you have all these other, powerhouse countries. I mean, Saudi Arabia. Fucking Saudi Arabia is saying, fuck you to the US dollar. And I think that's one of the reasons why Yellen went out and talked to freaking China to say, hey, wait. And, you know, I think she was, because her central bank digital currency process thing isn't really doing well with anybody. Because a lot of House Republicans and a lot of Senate Republicans are calling out this 2030 New World Order agenda. They've talked about it. They've mentioned it. A lot of them don't want to go that route, which I think is absolutely don't go that route. Right?
Well, let's put it in terms of Medicare for Medicare for all, Medicare for all. Yeah, the amount of money that it would have cost us for do it for 10 years. We were told that there was no way that over 10 years we could raise that amount of money to be able to do Medicare for all.
Vladimir Zelensky, president
We've
of
already
Ukraine,
spent more
some harsh words
in just this little bit of time on Ukraine than our entire medical costs for everybody in the United States for the next 10 years. We just gave it all away. So instantly we came up with that money to basically appease whatever needed to be done for Biden. But we didn't have that amount of money to take care of the United States people. We are funding health care for people all around the world, and we don't have money for us. One of the first things we do for countries is to make sure they have enough money to pay for their health care. I'm like, okay, why not pay for ours? And then we look at, okay, if we give a certain amount of money, that's the across-the-board money, then there's always this other little stuff that goes along that doesn't really get reported on the news. And I worry about that. Is, like yourself, to run a Navy, it's not just how many planes you put on there. You've got to feed every person on that boat.
Oh, yeah.
Every person on that boat needs 8 glasses of water a day. You got to have somebody making water every day on the ship. And so it's not just the amount of things we move, it's what it takes for us to move it. And a lot of times these costs get hidden in other things that you think you're buying this, but we're actually using the money elsewhere. And that used to be a big problem for us in factory. If we had some big thing, people would think we're spending all kinds of money. I actually have done 2 $1,500 hammers. So when I had to put a hammer in something, they would call me up. And then there would be a government person on staff that had to account for all the money that cost. Well, part of his salary then was anything that I got talked to, that project, his amount of salary was put on that as well. So it wasn't just my hourly wage, it was his hourly wage. After I went in and I looked at what was going on, then I'd have to discuss it with my boss, or I'd have to discuss it with another person. Then their time would be put on. Since I had a boss, 1/13 of my boss's salary, no matter what I did, 1/13 of his salary was tied to all of my things that I did. For each of the boss above him, all the way up in the company, all of their salaries were typed on to me. So when I walked out to the floor, no matter what I did, even if it was going to cost me just like 15, 20 minutes, just walking from my office to the factory floor cost the factory that I supported $10,000.
Oh my gosh.
And then they would have to do a complete report to it. And the people that did the reports, money would be
holy mackerel. That's
so it wasn't that I was getting paid $1,500. I got really poor pay, really. but it looked like I was getting paid just, like I was the richest person in the plant. When I walk into a plant, it was just like, don't waste his time. It's really costly to have him out here.
Mm-hmm.
And, if when you're doing anything for the military, you have to remember in the military, they have people that have to put together buttons on somebody's uniform. And there are people that study buttons on uniform because they've had in the past the location of where you put stuff in a battle time, or when you're under stress, you can get killed because you can't get to a bullet or something in your pocket.
Oh yeah.
And so one of the things they would send an engineer out there for is okay, they needed a special engineer that was also new tools and how people work under stress. So that means I'd have to go out there. Then I would have to take a second person for a second opinion out, and it would cost a lot of money. Well, I shouldn't have got us too far off track. I've got almost no power back, and I've got a major thunderstorm going on
right now.
So I'm going to probably lose everything anyway. So I'm just going to say goodnight and peel off.
Okay. Well, here's the thing. I want to make sure. Can I show you something before you leave?
Sure.
I just want to show you what this guy was doing. Eric Schmidt. He's the senator here in Missouri. Here it is, right here. I don't know if you can see it. I've had it up. I'm going to just play it right now. I just want to make sure everybody can kind of see that interview. Laura Ingraham I used to hate, but she's starting to make a little sense, but she's still bought and paid for, like all of them. I don't care who they are.
Joining me now is a man who filed a lawsuit when he was Missouri's Attorney General, Senator Eric Schmidt, that got this whole thing rolling. Senator, this injunction was a win, but the fight is not over. They're sticking with this.
That's right. I mean, they went back to the judge saying, hey, let us censor more. So I think it's a big win for free speech. It's a crushing blow to this censorship regime that the Biden administration established. And it's far-reaching. A number of agencies, it was almost exclusively against conservatives. It dealt with origins of COVID. It dealt with the Hunter Biden laptop. It dealt with mask mandates, you name it. And they were threatening these big tech companies. Essentially, we're going to take legal action. We're going to regulate you more. I mean, that's the kind of coercion they were executing, which is why the judge said you can't outsource the censorship that's illegal for the government to do.
Now, you think it's bad now. Imagine if Biden, in September of 2024, presuming he's the nominee, signs on to this UN Global Emergency Pact. They're going to be off to the races. If the Supreme Court ultimately doesn't do the right thing here, they will be off to the races with utter censorship across most social media platforms on the climate, correct?
No doubt about it. I mean, they use COVID as the playbook, right? Declare the emergency, use this authoritarian instinct they have to suppress speech, to do what they want to do that they could never get passed in the Congress, in the Senate, or in the House of Representatives. They want to do it by executive action, which is why I'm filing legislation this week to essentially codify the judge's decision so that this can't happen again. But we have to be vigilant. This is now the left's instinct. This is what they want to do. It's about power and control, and they're willing to exert it and violate the First.
Yeah. Okay. So you got that. So what? Anyway, the reason why I was playing that for you is because that's the one that we need to focus on to stop. I've been trying to tell this guy.
Joining me now is a man who filed a lawsuit.
Anyway, you got to get going. But let's follow that. I want to follow that and see where that goes, because that's the reason why the First Amendment is so important. And we should follow that. I'm going to be talking about that Thursday night.
He needs to pop up north and talk to Grassley.
Right? Yeah, they're a good team. They would be a great team. Right now, I'm seeing a little dissension and a little bit of separation in some of these House of Representatives officers, in a sense, these seated reps. There's a few of them that understand what the World Economic Forum is and the Pedo-Predator Class sickos out there are doing, and some of them are just catching up on it, and some of them are along with the Democrats for that ride. and you're starting to see who they are and what they are. Like, for example, Lindsey Graham is obviously
Faggot.
is just a piece of shit. Yeah, faggot doesn't mean he's a piece of shit. I think a better word for that, just letting you know, he's a he's a whore. He's a whore.
A whore with lady dogs.
Yeah, a salad tossing whore. But anyway, so him. So here's yeah, but he's one. Mitt Romney, Mitch McConnell. There's a bunch of them out there. We know that fucking Liz Cheney was shit. But there's just a bunch of them out there. They're starting to see, there's actually a separation in these groups. You got people that are just like, fuck you, Bill Gates, fuck you, Fauci, fuck you, World Economic Forum, and the World Health Organization, fuck all you guys, right? And then there's some people like there, well, maybe we shouldn't. And then there's some people like, oh, we definitely need to trust Bill Gates. Oh, we definitely need to trust Fauci. Oh, we definitely need to trust fucking the World Health Organization and the world.
They're willing to
Yeah.
go along to get
Yeah.
along with the enemy.
Yeah, exactly. Perfectly said. Perfectly said. And that's just really sad. So I'm going to follow this Grassley thing, and I swear to God I had that somewhere, and I reposted it because it popped you know me, if I see something that makes sense that could be serious, I'm going to put it somewhere. I guarantee you I have it up somewhere, and I'll probably share it to you after we're done. But anyway, I was on earlier. It's 2:27 at night. My hours are a little different because I do work the graveyard, so I'm okay.
I understand.
Yeah, but no, I mean, I'm okay. I'm just saying, I mean, if you guys wanted to go another hour, I would go another hour. But honestly, I started like 10 o'clock tonight, did a quick show, wanted to get that out there. I'm going to probably take it off because it fucking beats the crap out of Big Pharma. And then I did this one. So anyway, thank you guys for being here. It's good talking to you. Snork, thank you for dropping in. Awesome to have you here, Eric, as usual.
Thank you again.
Good to have you here. Let's try to work on, if you don't mind, Eric, maybe we can work on, since you have a computer, you definitely know how to operate a computer really well. Maybe if I sent you the information, we could set up a system where you could, put up so as I start talking about something, I can say, hey, could you bring up slide number 4 or website number 2, right? And then we can actually put content out there so it seems like we're not stumbling. The problem is I don't have a tech guy. Like every channel that I know out there, everybody has a channel. Everybody has a tech guy. Everybody has somebody that's helping them. I had a tech girl, but that's a different story. That went south, literally. But that's pretty much it. Anyway, if you want to help me with that, or whoever wants to, let me know. I would appreciate it. Other than that,
I'll see what I can do.
All right, yeah. Don't commit to it now. I'm just saying. See if you know somebody or anybody wants to help. That would be awesome. Other than that, thank you guys for being here. Have a good night.
Have a good night and stay safe. Take care.
Anything you want to leave us with?
Good night.
That's it?
No, I better get to bed.
All right, take care. Bye.
Okay.